In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NBA games happening on March 3, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Atlanta Hawks versus Memphis Grizzlies. On Monday, the Atlanta Hawks are set to face off against the Memphis Grizzlies at the FedEx Forum. This game marks the second meeting between these 2 NBA teams this season. Their previous encounter on December 21st saw the Grizzlies secure a decisive 128-112 victory. Over their last 10 matchups, Memphis has held the upper hand with a 6-4 record, both straight up and against the spread. The total points scored in those games have been evenly split, with 5 going over and 5 staying under the projected totals. The Hawks continue to deal with the absence of Georges Niang and Jalen Johnson, while the Grizzlies are monitoring the status of Ja Morant, who remains questionable for this game. In their recent 130-128 loss to the San Antonio Spurs on Saturday, the Grizzlies were without both Desmond Bane and Ja Morant. However, since neither player carries an injury designation, they are expected to be available for Monday's game against Atlanta. In their absence, Jaren Jackson Jr. stepped up in a big way, delivering a standout performance. He shot an impressive 60% from the field and notched his first 40-point game of the season, the 6th of his career. Jackson could be poised for another big night against a Hawks defense that has struggled, ranking 26th in paint points allowed and 28th in first quarter points allowed. Atlanta's defensive woes have been a recurring issue, and they'll need to tighten up if they hope to compete. The Hawks are in desperate need of a win to stabilize their season, but injuries have made that a tough task. Even if Morant is unable to play, the Grizzlies still hold a clear advantage in depth and overall roster strength. Atlanta should be well rested, having last played on Friday, but that alone may not be enough to keep up with a Memphis team that strategically rested key players in their previous game. As our first pick for this matchup, the Memphis Grizzlies to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. This game promises to be fast-paced, as the Grizzlies lead the NBA in pace and the Hawks rank second. Those teams are also among the top 3 in offensive possession length, meaning there will be plenty of scoring opportunities. Memphis boasts a well-rounded offense, ranking in the top 10 in rim field goal percentage, mid-range field goal percentage, and 3-point shooting. While Atlanta's offense can be inconsistent, they've shown flashes of brilliance, scoring 140 or more points in 2 of their last 6 games. Defensively, the Grizzlies are solid but have vulnerabilities, ranking 21st in opponent offensive rebounding rate and 25th in opponent free throw attempt rate. These weaknesses could provide the Hawks with additional chances to put points on the board. With 2 of the fastest playing teams in the league squaring off, this matchup is shaping up to be a high-scoring affair. The Grizzlies will have their star backcourt available after sitting out their last game, adding even more firepower to their already potent offense. Memphis ranks in the top 10 in effective field goal percentage, points in the paint, and fast break points, making them a tough opponent for any defense. Meanwhile, the Hawks have struggled to contain opposing shooters, allowing the 3rd highest 3-point shooting percentage in the league at 37.3%. All signs point to an exciting, fast-paced game with plenty of scoring. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Sacramento Kings versus Dallas Mavericks. The Sacramento Kings, holding a 31-28 record, are aiming to secure their 3rd straight road victory as they head to the American Airlines Center to take on the Dallas Mavericks on Monday night. This matchup comes at a crucial point in the season for both teams, with playoff positioning potentially on the line. Sacramento is riding some momentum after a solid 113-103 win over the Houston Rockets, where they entered the game as 4.5-point underdogs. On the other hand, Dallas is looking looking to bounce back from a tough 132-117 loss to the Milwaukee Bucks, a game in which they were 2.5-point underdogs. Both teams will be eager to prove themselves in this contest, especially after splitting their last 10 meetings. Notably, the Kings have the upper hand in the current season series, leading 2-0. Injury concerns are playing a role in this matchup. The Kings will be without Domantas Sabonis, who has been ruled out, leaving them slightly short-handed. Meanwhile, the Mavericks continue to miss the services of Daniel Gafford and Anthony Davis. These absences could impact the flow and outcome of the game as both teams adjust their rotations. Sacramento has shown signs of life recently, winning 3 consecutive games. While this streak might suggest they're turning a corner, their season-long inconsistency makes it hard to fully buy into their resurgence just yet. Their 22-34-3 record against the spread this season doesn't inspire much confidence either. On the flip side, Dallas has been strong at home, boasting 19 wins on their home court this season. They'll also have extra motivation after losing to the Kings in overtime less than a month ago. The line for this game feels fair, and while the Kings have been playing better, it's not enough to sway the pick in their favor. As our first pick for this matchup, the Dallas Mavericks money line is our full game side pick. When it comes to scoring trends, the Kings have stayed under the total in their last 3 games. They average 117 points per game and play at the 6th fastest pace in the league, with 103.8 possessions per game. However, they're up against a Mavericks defense that allows 109.5 points per game. Dallas, meanwhile, scores an average of 115 points per game and plays at a slightly slower pace, ranking 18th in the league with 102.5 possessions per game. They'll face a Kings defense that has been stingy lately, giving up just 97 points per game over their last 3 outings. Historically, the under has hit in 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Detroit Pistons versus Utah Jazz. The 2024-2025 NBA season rolls on with an exciting cross-conference matchup set for Monday, March 3rd at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. This game will mark the conclusion of the 2-game regular season series between the Detroit Pistons and the Utah Jazz. When these teams last met in December, the Jazz came out on top with a 126-119 victory, despite being 4.5-point underdogs on the road. Both teams are dealing with significant injuries heading into this game. The Pistons will once again be without Tobias Harris and Jaden Ivey, while the Jazz are missing key players like Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, and Lauri Markkanen. Despite these absences, the Pistons are entering this game as heavy road favorites, which isn't surprising given their recent strong performance. They've been one of the hottest teams in the league lately. On the other hand, the Jazz will be playing on 0 days of rest after suffering a loss to the Pelicans the night before. This matchup pits two teams trending in opposite directions. After a shaky start to the season, the Pistons have found their rhythm, winning 9 of their last 10 games. They've been particularly effective in transition, ranking second in fast break points, and are consistently among the top 5 in scoring in the paint. Additionally, they've been dominant on the offensive glass and have done a solid job limiting opponents to 1 shot per possession. In contrast, the Jazz lead the league in turnovers and have struggled to close out defensive possessions effectively. Over their last 10 games, the Pistons have been averaging 120 points per 100 possessions while giving up just 106.5 points defensively. This makes them a much stronger defensive team compared to the Jazz, who might also be shorthanded for this game. Lauri Markkanen, a key player for Utah, has missed 4 consecutive games due to a back injury. While the Jazz have depth in their front court, the Pistons have enough firepower to handle it. Detroit ranks second in the league in defensive rebound percentage and 8th in offensive rebound percentage. Despite being without Jaden Ivey, who averages 18 points and 4 assists per game, the Pistons have been outstanding in recent weeks. I expect them to continue their strong form and avenge their December home loss to the Jazz. As our first pick for this matchup, the Detroit Pistons to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. When it comes to pace, the Pistons rank 8th in the NBA, averaging 99.7 possessions per 48 minutes, while the Jazz sits slightly behind at 13th with 99.2 possessions. Detroit doesn't rely heavily on 3-point shooting, ranking 22nd in 3 three-point rate, whereas Utah is more dependent on the long ball, ranking 7th in three-point rate. The Jazz will likely continue to lean on their three-point shooting in this game, which could be problematic for the Pistons, who rank 27th in opposing three-point percentage. However, Detroit's game plan will likely focus on attacking the rim and exploiting Utah's weak interior defense. For this reason, I'm leaning toward the over on the total points. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone over the projected total. Detroit's up-tempo style of play, combined with Utah's tendency to push the pace as well, should make for a high-scoring game. The Pistons have excelled in the painted area this season, and their strong rebounding has allowed them to generate plenty of second-chance points. On the flip side, the Jazz are top 10 in offensive rebounding rate and three-point attempts per game. Defensively, Utah fouls at a high rate, but their offense has been effective at drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line, ranking in the top 10 in that category. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.